So this is the Christian that, you know, it's been talked about. Maybe I should debate.
Yeah, you should go school him, dude.
I'm not really a big fan of debates as a format. I think they're kind of stupid. And, you know, maybe I'll make a video about why I think debates are rigged. But,
yeah, but it's funny to just see people.
But nonetheless, let's take a look at my potential opponent in this perhaps debate.
You know what? Maybe this will convince you to do it or not do it.
Yeah, maybe I'll fucking feel one way or the other about it by the time I'm done watching this.
In Genesis 6, God declared judgment. In Genesis 7, judgment comes.
Who cares?
God sends Noah and his family into the ark and then shuts them in. And what follows next is the flood is unleashed.
Okay.
The question arises, how long did the flood last? Calculating all the numbers in Genesis 7 and 8 would indicate it lasted for approximately 1 year.
I already have some issues.
Yeah.
One, there's no geological record that there was ever this worldwide flood. So I'm not sure how they would know. Number two, we're using the Bible as a source of evidence, which it's not.
Number three, I don't really care how long this fictional flood happened.
Yeah, like, so therefore I don't care about any.
It's debated. You know, how long did Harry Potter spend? You know, like, I don't care. You know what I mean?
How long did Harry Potter fucking play with his balls? I mean, dude, here's the thing.
You know, it's debated how much time actually did pass between A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. You know, this is a hotly contested issue amongst fans of this. Like, yeah, I mean, that's great and all, but, like, I don't believe in this book. So I really don't give a shit how long it rained in the Bible, you know? Like, if I was a big Bible fan, maybe I'd care, but I'm not, so I don't.
And there's no evidence that the event described here occurred.
Well, I mean, I'm just taking for granted that it didn't.
No, I'm just saying that, so even if you're saying, well, there's actual evidence, it's not just the Bible.
Well, there isn't, so who cares?
Well, that's the next thing they all, because I mean, obviously Noah's Ark's a big thing, it's debated. That's the one thing that they always pivot to. They go, oh, well, there's actual scientific evidence and historical documents.
There isn't.
There's not.
There's not, so it doesn't matter.
So it's bullshit.
But the numbers in Genesis might be symbolic. As we noted in our video on Genesis 5.
So apparently, like, this is one of those Christians that is not. He's not taking it completely literally, because I guess some things are symbolic. So which that's a pretty good get out of jail free card whenever you're backed into a corner argument wise. You're like, symbolic. Everything that seems like a contradiction that doesn't make sense is symbolic.
The problem with that is then how do you determine what is real in the Bible and what is symbolic in the Bible?
That's easy, Scotty. Anything that he wants to be real is real. Anything that's hard to explain is symbolic. That's how that's always worked.
I see.
So
there's no real actual standard.
No.
That's needed. It's completely arbitrary. Oh, okay. It's just very convenient, and it's just a fucking old, tired apologetics tactic.
Here's the idea. So since you've opened the door to some of the Bible being symbolic, here's an idea. Maybe the whole thing is symbolic, or maybe the easier word for it is just fiction. Maybe it's just a fictional book, like Harry Potter. Maybe it's just made up, right? It's like The Great Gatsby, you know? Only not as good.
Well, I mean, considering the number of elements that Christianity borrowed from earlier religions.
No, you see, Sky, those earlier religions that had resemblances to Christianity, those were lies spread by the devil.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Preemptively spread. So that's how that works.
The text employs a lot of symbolic numbers for theological messaging.
What is this shit? Hold on. Wait a minute. Let's take a look at this fucking shit. What is going on here? So we're seeing we're seeing the age of everyone at fatherhood. So like the age of Jared at fatherhood -7 is 165/5. What?
The duration of the
what does that mean? What does any of this mean? What is this It's just you just randomly -7 from certain dates. And...
I don't even know how it's relevant, but.
Okay, whatever. I don't know. I guess I'm too. I mean, I've never been mathematically inclined, so maybe someone else out there could explain this to me. I don't know.
For theological messaging. The duration of the flood seems to fit with this textual and cultural context.
Okay,
For
what
example,
is this?
You have one source.
Flood begins
So,
in
the
600th
Bible
year,
said
second
that the
month.
Bible's
blah, blah, blah,
right.
blah. Rains for 40 days and 40 nights. Waters prevailed for 150 days. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. Cool.
The flood account repeatedly employs exact numbers like 7 and 40.
All right.
7 is a sacred number, and it is often used to symbolize completion.
Yeah, according to who?
7 is a sacred number according to what? I can point it. Okay. My butthole is a sacred implement of God. I've decided. It's just the claim that my butthole is it's a hole, so it's holy. You know what I mean? Like the claim that my butthole has some sort of great symbolic meaning is every bit as valid as your claim that the number 7 does. You know what I mean? Like anything can be symbolic. The only thing that fucking determines whether or not something is symbolically relevant is who believes it and how many people believe it and how fervently they believe it. So you declaring like 7's a magic number. It's magic. It's got powers. Doesn't mean anything.
It shows up throughout the early chapters of Genesis.
Okay.
In fact, it shows up in the flood account exactly 10 times.
This is
another
just
sacred number
a fucking giant
7
circle jerk
to get a
with the Bible.
7 pairs of all clean animals, 7 pairs of birds, 7 days I will send rain, 7 days the waters of the flood, 17th day of the month, 7th month, 17th day of the month, 7 days, 27th day of the month. Oh my God, so many 7s! 10 7s!
Number one, there would have to be way more species of birds. There had to be way more. There had to be the ark had to be impossibly large to take all these animals on. How the fuck did all these animals? Okay, so let's even assume it's true. All these kinds. They say kinds. They don't say species.
Kinds.
And all these kinds of animals then stretch themselves out across the globe in a few thousand fucking years. How do they manage to do that?
With God's help.
Oh, God help them. God's like, koala, here you go. Let me throw you over to Australia.
You're going to Australia, koala, you son of a bitch.
Platypus, you're going too. Give me a fucking break, man.
God done it.
And then it's just a biblical. Oh, so you have to basically just believe and buy into the premise like the Bible is true.
But Scotty.
Except that it's not true because it's symboology.
Genesis, Scotty. Genesis uses the number 7 10 times, Scotty.
Wow.
What's your fucking response to that, dipshit? Explain that. Atheism defeated. Checkmate.
I can see, dude.
Multiple of 70. Kenneth Matthews says, 7.
Harry Potter takes his wand out exactly 7 times in the fucking Philosopher's Stone.
How many Harry Potter books are there, TJ?
7. Holy shit!
It's a holy book series. That's amazing. I can't believe it.
I want to show you something, Scotty. This is from a website called wizardingworld.com.
Okay.
The significance of 7.
Oh, shit. Whoa. Okay.
Here we go. 7 books in the series. 7 gold galleons for Harry's wand. 7 Weasley children. 7 floors of Hogwarts. 7 players in the Quidditch team. 7 obstacles guarding the Philosopher's Stone. Slytherin wins house championships 7 years in a row. 7 hidden pathways displayed on the Marauders map. 7 keyholes on Professor Moody's trunk. 7 sickles. The price of Fred and George's canary creams. 7 socks owned by Dobby. 7 years old. The age of unicorns. The age that unicorns turn pure white. 7th level of the Ministry of Magic, the Magical Games Department. 7th year at Hogwarts, James and Lily become an item. 7 owls, each for Harry and Ron. 7 questions Bellatrix poses to Severus in Spinner's End. 7 Horcruxes containing fragments of Voldemort's soul. 7 people disguised as Harry Potter flying through the sky. 7 the age by which experts agree magic will have revealed itself. 7 hours Harry spends surveilling the Ministry's interests. entrance. 7, defense against the dark arts teachers in the series. 7, the most powerful magical number. Lucky 7. Oh my God, it's all here.
Dude, Harry Potter is real. Harry Potter is real. How could that possibly be otherwise, TJ?
If Harry Potter was not real and was not legit, how could there be so many examples of the number 7 in the book?
Couldn't be.
They couldn't even be possible, Scotty. It's not even fucking possible.
Are you saying it would just happen by chance?
I literally just typed in the number 7 Harry Potter, and that came up. Because I knew that someone would have made this exact same case. How did I know that? Because people who are crazy fans of some dumb fucking book come up with all kinds of wacky shit like that. I remember one time I fucking spent like 5 or 6 hours trying to fucking find as many connections between Marilyn Manson's album Hollywood and the number 13. I'm like, wow, the significance of 13, bro. 13 recurs so many times. There's 13 syllables in the full album title. Marilyn Manson is 2 M's, and M is the 13th letter of the alphabet. And oh my God, there's so many connections to 13. I found a shit ton. Because you know what? If you go looking for it, you can fucking find it. It's there to find. Human beings are pattern-seeking animals. You finding a bunch of instances of the number 7 in your made-up, phony baloney fucking text does not fucking in any way demonstrate that that text has some sort of fucking validity.
Well, and also you have to consider the fact that most of these people are already starting out with the conclusion, and they're just working towards that conclusion.
Oh my God, dude.
And you just demonstrated perfectly how that works.
I just realized my wife, Chelsea, 7 letters in Chelsea. And then her middle and last name also have 7 letters apiece. Her name, 777. And she was born on the 7th. Well, she was actually born on the 6th. But so what? It was close to 7. It was almost 7.
Chelsea
in some time zones, it was the 7th.
TJ, fall to your knees.
And hear the angel voices.
You guys better start worshiping Chelsea right now. She could fucking smite you, dude.
Bow down and worship Chelsea, you fucking pleb cocksuckers.
Indicates that the animals and birds are considered a full complement, adequately representing the whole created order. 7 is also used for time lengths.
So what?
God giving instructions.
Who cares?
The flood arrives.
Who cares?
The final intervals before Noah leaves the ark.
7 times 10 is 70.
Any other arguments?
Types of completion.
Who cares? What does this mean? It doesn't mean anything.
40 is used for the duration of rain, and has parallels in other places in Scripture as an important number.
There's no way I would waste my time debating this fucking moron.
Yeah, this guy is not bringing.
What am I supposed to say when he's? Okay. So let's say I'm in a debate with him, and he's like, "The number 7 occurs 10 times in Genesis, and the number 40 occurs 32 times." And I'm like, who? I don't what?
Because all you're gonna go back to is this. You're gonna be like, "Why do you believe any of this? What evidence?
What am I even supposed to say to that?"
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is, there's no point even debating any of this. This means nothing. It's like, the only thing you can argue is basically like, why does he believe what he believes?
Oh yeah, you got. I'm sorry.
Good reason
you
to
know
believe
what?
anything that he believes.
In a moment of passion, I called our beloved patrons plebs. You guys are of course not plebs. That's rude. I'm sorry
TJ, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, that was dumb of me.
What the fuck?
And Esau just happen to be 40 years of age when they marry.
It was a moment of
remained on
passion. I'm
Sinai
sorry,
for
guys.
40 days and 40 nights. And his life is divided into 3 periods of 40 years. Israel's spies are in the land for 40 days, and then Israel, in turn, spends 40 years in the wilderness.
Uh-huh.
By the way,
okay.
Notes the number
because
40
where they supposedly start and end up is like 50 miles. So
Yeah.
they wandered the desert for 40 years to go 50 fucking miles. And by the way, also no evidence of that ever happening.
This guy.
Who gives a shit about that? Because the number 40 appeared 10 times. Therefore, everything they're saying is true.
This guy reminds me of an unsharpened pencil because he has no fucking point. Get to the point, bro. Is there a point to all this numerology shit? Are you going to eventually like tie this into something that matters or is relevant in any way, shape, or form? I'm going to guess no.
It is I, God, here to tell thee about the channel called Deep Fat Fried. Deep Fat Fried delivers live streams more educational than Wikipedia. Banter so good thee shalt wish thee were there, and content so gluttonous thou shalt feel grease coursing through thy veins. Subscribe today and consider becoming a patron for bonus content. Thine self speed, my children.
But beyond this, the event carries theological and moral issues for many. Why would God literally drown everyone, even the children and infants?
Because he's a dick.
He's an
But did
immoral thug.
This is often
That's why.
assumed
But
as
did he? But did he? But
Well,
did what?
No, he didn't,
What?
because the whole book is fiction.
God!
indirect consequence of a flood. But let's remember, this is an assumption not mentioned in the text. What does the biblical text say and actually imply? Looking back to Genesis 6.
God is an immoral piece of shit that kills his own creations that really don't have free will because God decided to kill them in a flood. That's what it fucking says. And that's why you're doing this apologetics mode. Well, actually, if you look at it, it's not that bad because it's not. He didn't really kill everyone.
Hold
Did he
on.
also
Hold
not
on.
really say slavery was okay?
Hold
Did he
on, I
also
wanna-
not say owning people's, having chattel is okay? Did he also not say that women should be silent? Is that not okay? Is also not it's also symbology.
All right. Hold on. Hold up. Let's I want to hear what the fuck.
Kids.
I want to hear what the fuck this argument is.
Let's remember the
I don't
flood
know why,
was
but
brought
go
with
ahead.
remorse. This is not something God wants to bring about, and it grieves him to do this. So no one is happy about what needs to be done. Second, it is philosophically impossible for God to kill anyone the way a human kills someone. When a human kills someone, they remove that person from their plane of existence for selfish and hateful reasons. Since God is on all planes of existence, it is logically impossible for him to murder someone the way a human might.
All right. Well, I regret giving that even the fucking fraction of a chance that I tried to give it.
Whoa. It is logically impossible for God to murder anyone. God, the all-powerful creator of the universe, knew these people that he created would do things that he would find objectionable by his standard. And instead of forgiving them because he created them in a flawed way in his image, he decides to kill them. But you say it's not really killing them because it's God.
Well, no, it's because listen, Scotty.
So it's just so he's just
Scotty, no,
erasing
listen.
them.
God is on all planes of existence simultaneously. So see, if I were to kill you, I would be removing you from my plane of existence. But since God is on all planes of existence, God you can never really be removed from God's plane of existence. You know what I mean? So it's okay to murder you.
He's removing you from the only plane of existence that you exist in.
No, because you're going to go to, well, I guess they're not going to heaven because they're evil, so they're going to hell, which I'm always was told was the absence of God. So this argument, I don't know, maybe this guy doesn't believe that. I don't know what he believes. See, that's the problem, too, is like without knowing this dude's exact theology, it's kind of hard to fucking even address this argument. But needless to say, if I die in a flood and it's because some entity created the flood, like, I'm not going to make a distinction. Like, okay, I'm not going to make a distinction between God drowning me and, like, a person drowning me. I'm still being drowned. Like, the result is the same.
I'm being morally killed. Yes, kill me morally.
Oh, it's like, oh, no, I'm being stabbed. Ah! But then God comes down and is like, I will now stab. He's like, please, God. It's like, no, I can't morally. Look, this is morally acceptable. Like, oh, okay. Well, then in that case, stab away, motherfucker. I guess this is good killing. This is like the good murder. This isn't murder because God can't murder. Like, what? There's no fucking moral difference. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if it's like you could be stabbed by a person or you could be stabbed by God. Like, what? Neither of those are the same. The results are the same.
Instead, he is just moving people from one plane of existence to another. So this is not murder,
Oh,
since God is
it's
not
like a
removing people from
transfer.
existence.
Well, wait a minute. That wouldn't if death just takes you from one plane of existence to the other, then no murder should count as murder. Like if I was to murder Scotty right now, if I was to drive over to Scotty's house walk up to him and shoot him right in the head. It's like, I did not murder Scotty. I merely moved him from one plane of existence to another.
No, but here's why you did, TJ.
Oh.
I mean, that is true, because obviously I would go straight to hell. But the only plane you exist in is this plane of reality, right?
Right. But just because I removed you from the plane that I exist upon doesn't mean that I didn't really kill you. I just moved you to another plane. No,
you're not God.
No, well, no, I did. But, he's saying that all death results...
No, if you do it, it's for evil reasons. If God does it, it's a moral killing.
Right, but I'm saying that, it doesn't really... there's no material difference. You're still just going to a different plane of existence. Whether I move you there or God does, you're simply moving on to another plane. So it's exactly the same result.
It's different. When God does it, it's totally acceptable. When you do it, it somehow is not.
Someone in the chat said this guy is pulling planes of existence completely out of... No, he's not. What? Guys, you need to pay more attention to the numeral. Did you not see how many times the number 40 occurs in Genesis? Like, come on, guys. You need to fucking follow this plot a little better.
But just placing them on another plane of existence. We should think of God's actions of ending a life analogously to how this happens in a dream world in the movie Inception. When you kill someone in a dream world, you are not ending their life, but moving them up to another plane of existence.
If this is how it works, which it's not, this would hold true for any murderer, whether they be human or God. So basically what you're saying is that there's no... Like, you're basically saying the equivalent of there's nothing morally wrong with murdering people.
Yes.
Which, I'm a moral nihilist, so I can kind of get with that on some level, but I personally don't really think murder's cool. I don't think it's cool to just murder people.
Likewise, it is not immoral for God to end a life, because, being on all planes of existence, he cannot kill like a human does when they commit murder. You may not...
This distinction of what plane the killer is on is a meaningless distinction. It's literally a distinction without a fucking difference. Like, I don't want to avoid being murdered because I'm I don't oh no, the murder is depriving me of being on their plane of existence. That's not why I want to avoid being murdered. I want to avoid being murdered because I believe it's the cessation of all life and I'm going to simply cease to exist. I don't believe I'm going on to another plane of existence. But if I was, it wouldn't matter who sent me there between God or a murderer.
Not to mention everything, all the shit he slipped in the last 30 seconds. It's like, where is the evidence? That's not even in the Bible. That's just something he whole cloth made up and it's more like a dream inception state. Where's the evidence for that? How do you know that? How do you come to this conclusion?
Number 7 occurs 10 times in Genesis, Scotty.
Wow.
7 times 10 is 70. Therefore, this is true.
Emotionally like the idea of God ending a life, but it doesn't follow that it is immoral due to his ontological differences.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Third, it is possible there were no children that died in the flood. This might sound...
I agree. Well, once again, I agree, but not for the right reasons. I agree that no children died in the flood, but it's because I don't believe any flood ever occurred. Well, obviously, floods have occurred, but this great global flood that's talked about in
never occurred
in Genesis did not occur.
At least there's no evidence to suggest
I'm confident to say it did not occur. So,
fair enough. I mean, I'm not gonna.
I mean, I guess I could be more diplomatic and say there's no evidence for it, but I'll go a little further and say it did not happen. Right, let's get to let's hear this logic for why children did not die in this global flood that killed literally everyone.
I know it's hard, but it's hard not to get carried away on that.
I don't blame you, but I want to hear this next ridiculous piece of bullshit.
Implausible on the surface, but nevertheless, it very well could have been the case. Let's remember textually and geologically, there is no reason to suggest the flood was global, but only regional within the area of modern-day Iraq and East.
All right, well, you're just rewriting the rules as you go, and at this point, I mean, the Bible... This is why I hate arguing with Christians, man. Because each one of them has their own little fucking different version of Christianity. And the minute that they fucking are backed into a corner, they just say, oh, that's not my theology. In my version, it wasn't even a global flood. It was just a real big flood in this local region. So fuck this.
That's not what the Bible says.
Fuck this, man. Just fuck this shit. This is dumb. I'm not arguing with this.
But see, aren't you glad because now you don't have to fucking waste your time debating this lunatic who clearly just has no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Oh my God. It's just like, you just make shit up as you go. Anybody, I mean, like, yeah, you can make, okay, that's fine.
They should at least.
That's great. That's great, dude. You have fun.
Fuck this. Let's
You have fun with your bullshit. That's great. Real good. I fucking really appreciate what you done with it. It's looking great. It's a nice look.